Hey guys! Continuing our favorite series, today we're going to do our favorite concealer. So we're just going to share with you guys our, most used concealers. Yes. You always got it. Okay.
So if you're interested in learning about our favorite concealers, then just keep on watching.
Okay, so the first concealer up for me is going to be the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eyes concealer. I obviously just have the little sample size, but I've had this for a really long time and it's still going strong. So you can only imagine how much their full size is gonna be. So this concealer retails for $24 on the IT Cosmetics website and it has 4 shades in total. For all of these products, by the way, the price and the shades are based off what we found on the brand's website. The claims for this concealer are that it's a full coverage anti-aging concealer that never creases, and obviously it's meant to be for underneath your eyes. It's highly pigmented and it covers everything. So this concealer, I use it for color correcting underneath my eyes, but then also really having a concentrated coverage underneath there. It's a really full coverage concealer. It has a lot of pigment and a little bit goes a really long way. It's super hydrating. I think it's very comparable to the Tarte Maracuja one.
Oh yeah.
It's so comparable to that in terms of the texture and the way that it kind of sits on your skin and the way that it dries. So it is really moisturizing. So I'll use that underneath my main concealer that I'll be using for the day just to have that extra coverage. If you have really dry under eyes, I definitely recommend using this. When I was going through my little phase of having really dry under eyes, I would put this first and then I would put my main concealer on just so it could help me with kind of the texture underneath my eyes.
Sticking in the family of color correcting, this is the Becca Under Eye Brightening Corrector. This retails for $30 on their website. It's also the same price at Ulta, and it's just one shade. I like it because it's really lightweight, it's not super thick, and I really like the color. In the pan it looks more of a light pink, but when I put it on my eyes it's kind of like a salmon undertone, which really does help with darkness underneath your eyes. I've tried the NYX under eye brightening, under eye dark circle corrector, and it's way too orange. So this I really do enjoy. A lot comes in here. You need the smallest bit, so this will last you a long time. I would say this does a good job at color correcting dark circles. I don't use it as often as I probably should. It's just I'm really lazy when it comes to adding more steps to my foundation and makeup routine. But when I remember and when I can use this, this definitely does make a difference.
The next concealer in my little batch is the Maybelline Master Conceal Camouflaging Concealer. So this retails for $8.99 and it has 3 shades on their website.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. You're suspect saying that.
But the thing is, we did just find these on the brand's website. I'm pretty sure there's more shades.
I feel like I've seen more shades in store. Well, why wouldn't the brand's website have that? That's so weird.
Right? They should have everything, but
yeah, I don't know.
The shade that I own this is in a 20 Light. The description for this concealer is that it's a full coverage concealer that camouflages imperfections and dark circles. That's exactly what I use this for. Again, this isn't necessarily my main concealer. It's something that I use underneath, whether it be my makeup, my foundation, or my main concealer. I'll use this underneath my eyes if I'm not using the IT Cosmetics one, or I'll use it to actually conceal any kind of imperfections around my face. I really love it for that reason. It's a really lightweight concealer, but it still has that coverage. The other use for this is that whenever I'm doing kind of a no makeup day, but I still have kind of things that I need to cover, I'll go through my face with this on any kind of breakouts, any dark circles, and I'll use it to kind of just spot correct and spot conceal if I don't want makeup all over my face. And it's a really good concealer for doing that because it looks so natural. So I love it for that reason. It's a little thicker than a concealer like this would be, but it's still very lightweight on the skin, if I didn't say that already. Because of the coloring of this, I think it does a really good job at covering the dark circles, which is something that it also says on the back of the tube. Whenever I use this underneath my eyes, I just go in with my fingers. Same thing with the IT Cosmetics one. I have to go in with my fingers. It's too thick for anything else.
This one?
Yeah, so it's something that I just use kind of my ring finger and just pat it in there. If I'm covering like breakouts or anything, then I use a brush, but for the most part I just use my finger for this and for the It Cosmetics one.
Yeah, because you said you use this underneath your main
Underneath,
yeah, so with like all three of these, I think the reason we like you, well, at least I like using my fingers, because if I go in with a brush with this, I tend to put too much product and it ends up being too thick underneath my eyes. Exactly. So with your finger, it like disperses the product better if you're putting it underneath the concealer. So the next concealers are all just going to be the same for us. We both like all of these. So the next concealer is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. This retails for $6.49. On their website it says they only have 3 shades, but at other places it says there are 6 shades, which I've seen 6 shades in stores, so I find it really weird that the website only says 3 shades. It has natural coverage and it's an oil-free concealer that matches skin tone to deliver a more even complexion. But this doesn't have as much coverage as the rest of our concealers, but it is super lightweight. The formula is really easy to blend out.
Really quickly, the shades that we have is I have just 10, which is in light.
And I have 10 and 15. 15 is a little lighter than 10, so I like to use this one when I'm really pale. Since this is a lighter coverage concealer, I do like to pair this with my Becca color corrector, because since this isn't really going to cover my dark circles, this will do that for me.
The one thing that I really like about this concealer is that it's very easy to blend out. You're not going to have to put in that much work. It just kind of blends out instantly. I use this, or I apply this with a beauty blender. I find that it works best for me. Whenever I do use this, I do use it as a main concealer, so I'll either place it on top of one of these or I'll wear it by itself, but I do use it as a main concealer to conceal and then also highlight my face. The next concealer that we both love is the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin Concealer and Corrector. So this retails for $8.99 and it has 3 shades. This concealer visibly reduces the appearance of dark circles, spots, and imperfections in 3 weeks.
Interesting.
Technically, all of the Better Skin line kind of has this ingredients that's known for its antioxidant benefits. I can't pronounce it, so I'm not gonna. But all of their products in this line have that. The shade that I have is in Ivory, which is 10.
I actually have the shade 50, which is medium deep. I actually use this to bronze up my skin. This shade in specific is not dark enough to bronze up my skin if I'm tan, but if I'm on the paler side, I actually used it today to bronze up my skin before I put powder bronzer on, and this blends out like really well, I think. So I can't say much of this for underneath the eyes, but the formula is actually really good to use as a bronzer.
So I do use this as a main concealer. Again, this product is really good at kind of blending out really easily. This concealer, I wouldn't say that it's the most full coverage concealer, but I do think that it's a little better coverage than the Fit Me concealer. Again, just like the Fit Me, this is also a really good day-to-day concealer. It's not gonna give you like that cakey coverage, but it's gonna cover enough for a day-to-day life.
The next concealer we both like is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, the Eraser Concealer. This retails for $9.99. On their website, it also claims that this has 3 shades, but other stores have 6 shades, just like the other Maybelline concealers. This is a dark circle treatment concealer. The eye area appears radiant and refreshed in no time. We both have the shade Neutralizer. I think this concealer definitely has more coverage than all the previous concealers we talked about. You definitely need less product from this one, I think, even though the applicator kind of makes it... I'm not a big fan of this applicator, by the way. It kind of grosses me out, not gonna lie. Sometimes I put too much product on just because this is just... I can't do this.
I feel like I have to wind this up a lot more just so I can get more product out, just so I don't like have to like heavily scrape off my foundation to apply this, if that makes sense.
This also blends out really well. All of these concealers I blend out with a beauty sponge.
Me too.
I don't typically ever blend out my concealer with a brush. That's just me.
For me, I use this for literally everything. I use it as a base concealer, I use it as a main concealer, and then I also use it before I do my eyebrows. So I'll go through and kind of carve out my eyebrows. So I do my eyebrows before I do my foundation, so I like to apply kind of a base there just so I can have, you know, every part of that area, I guess, covered. So I go through with this first, you know, carve out my eyebrows, and then I fill them in. Like I said, I use it to just kind of, whenever I need a little extra coverage underneath my eyes, but I don't necessarily want to use this as my main concealer, I'll use it underneath my eyes. And then I'll also use it as a main concealer all over my face. I don't just use it underneath my eyes, but I'll use it to kind of cover and then brighten and, you know, highlight all over my face.
The texture, if you like put a lot out, is more of like a moussey texture, but when you blend it out, it's super thin and really, really lightweight. So I wouldn't describe this as like a moussey concealer because that makes you think that it's thick, but it's really not.
So moving on to our last concealer, but definitely not least, because I would say this is probably our favorite.
This has literally replaced all of my concealers.
This is our most reached for product concealer lately. The product that we are both referring to is the Tarte Shape Tape Contour Concealer. This retails for $24 and it has 14 shades. The shade that I have is fair, and then I also have light neutral.
I have the same exact shades as her.
The claims for this product are that it's a vegan-friendly, creamy concealer for radiant coverage and contouring. I don't know much about the contouring aspect of it just because neither of us uses concealer to contour. Yeah. Ain't nobody got time to spend this.
No time.
But I absolutely love, love, love this concealer. It does such a good job at not only covering, it's probably the highest or the most coverage concealer that I own, that I've ever owned or tried. And it does such a good job of smoothing.
No, it is literally I have one other full coverage concealer, the Kat Von D one. It covers the same amount as this one, but this is the best full coverage concealer that I've tried. It is super creamy. It doesn't dry out your under eyes. It blends amazing.
Yeah, it does a really good job with smoothing out any texture. Personally, I can always still see it just because, again, we're really paranoid. But this is the best concealer that I've tried when it comes to smoothing out the under eyes.
One thing I do notice about this concealer, it is very easy to apply too much.
Oh, yeah.
And if you apply too much, it is very obvious that you apply too much. Just the way that this applicator is huge compared to any of the other concealers, but I do like how big this applicator is. I just make sure I like scrape some of it off.
I'm gonna
before I put it on.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm
gonna go ahead and say the opposite. I absolutely hate this applicator.
I love it.
I just don't think it's too big for me. Oh, actually, that's not even the main concern. It doesn't pick up enough product for me. That's my thing. I feel like it literally, it's so dry. Like, it's so dry.
It's so much product.
No, but I feel like it's so dry. Like, it doesn't hold as much as it looks.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
It's just a really...
It's different for me.
I don't know. I hate this applicator. It's absolutely... But like she was saying, it's very easy to over-apply the concealer. So I literally have to apply a lot less than I think I would need for any of the other concealers. And then go from there. It's better to, like...
Less is more.
For this concealer, less is more, and I never think that.
For sure.
I think this product has gotten so much attention and so much rave on YouTube and on Instagram and every social media platform, but I think it's well deserved.
It's worth the hype for sure.
Definitely.
So that was all of our favorite concealers, but as always, we will share what lips we are wearing.
So I'm wearing the Laura Mercier True Red Lip Pencil as lip liner, and I'm wearing Mod Lip Color lipstick all over my lips.
I just have the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in the shade London. That's it. Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already.
Make sure you guys check the description box for all the products that we mentioned. And we will see you guys in our next video. Bye,
guys. We did it.
Wow.